Hello there. So today's video is a video response to the YouTuber Weird Texas E.V.P. A couple of years ago, Paul posted a video titled "Can the Ghost Box Make You More Sensitive?" Now I've been meaning to get around to responding to this for quite a long time, and I'm finally getting around to it. To put it simply, I would say the answer is basically just yes. I feel the spirit box does make you a lot more sensitive to spirits. I feel that any form of communication that we actually have with spirits does make us more sensitive to them over time, regardless of what kind of equipment we choose to use, be it voice recorders, spirit boxes, the numerous apps available on the market, other methods of communication, or simply just talking to them. Although the spirit box definitely seems to fast track not only the level of activity that you go through, but your sensitivity to them. Now, the truth is, I don't really have any proof of this. I'm just going by my own experiences and my own theories on the subject. I feel that our sensitivity to spirits comes from our overall exposure to them, either through communication where we bring them in to talk, or through being around them in areas with high levels of activity. I think our sensitivity to them is something that you can liken to a muscle group within the body. It's probably not the best analogy, but I'm going to run with this just for now. So, it's like a muscle group that we've never really used, so it's quite weak, and our tools of communication act as lures to spirits to bring them in, and as a result our equipment helps us to get closer to them. When that happens, we get used to feeling the presences, we learn to follow our instincts a lot better than what we do, because unfortunately our day-to-day lives don't really permit it. We're just focused on the things in front of us. I think really it's an ability that we've always had deep down, but thanks to our daily lives we don't really get to use it, and exposure to them is what ultimately helps us realise that we have these instincts, and it's kind of like the strengthening of our metaphorical muscle. Unfortunately, just like with that analogy that I've just used, there does seem to be a flip side. If we take a step back from doing spirit communication and we just try to block things out as much as we can, unfortunately our ability to see, feel and hear them seems to go back to its original state as time progresses. It's kind of like, this whole situation is kind of like trying to explain the feeling of being cold to someone who has never felt it. We can describe it all we want, but we can't really describe it to them properly. They have to understand it through feeling it. In my case, I started to become more sensitive to them as a result of my situation. I was basically temporarily in an area of high activity. I mean, we've always had paranormal events take place in my house over the years, nothing negative, just little infrequent things that we'd be unable to explain. Last October, my neighbour started to do some DIY in his house. I've mentioned this on my channel before. Something involving banging and drilling over on this wall over here. Within days of that activity started up, I would frequently hear voices in the same room that I was in, even when there was no explanation for it. And it would just be little pieces of conversation, like two women having a whispered conversation, and I'd only make out little snippets of words that were being said. In one case, I remember lying in bed, probably around 3 o'clock in the morning, all the lights were off, it's dead quiet, and I'm reading an ebook on my tablet. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just start to hear whisper, whisper, whisper to him, whisper, whisper, whisper. And you could perceive in the room where exactly it was coming from. It was kind of coming from the centre of the room. Or you'd walk past empty rooms where there should be no conversations, there's no one in there, and you would hear whispered voices coming from them. And this would happen across the house. While this activity stopped eventually after the DIY was completed, it kind of just faded out a short time after. Since that point, I've been able to gauge presences quite accurately and tend to get results when this happens. If you look on screen now, you'll see a picture that I caught after feeling a presence. I took 5 pictures overall, and the story is on another video of my channel, which I'll link to at some point. And this has become quite a common thing. It's as if my instincts have become a lot sharper as a result of the experience. You mentioned something else that I did find quite intriguing in your original video, the flashes of blue light that you were talking about. Now, for a few years I experienced the same kind of thing, and I never found an explanation for it. Originally, I used to think it was a wiring problem until we got it checked. We found there was absolutely nothing wrong, yet this thing still persisted. It would often happen in the early hours of the morning, once again just a bright blue flash, and sometimes it would be assisted by a small cracking sound. And after a few years it became so common that I eventually just learned to ignore it, and after going on for several years it just subsided after a little bit of time. Anyway, that's my video response. I hope I made my points properly and didn't bore you all in the process. I'd be interested to hear what you all think about the situation, and I'll see you soon.